Hey, Tony Carousel on New Haven Independent Newsbreak, April 25th, 2023. Tonight's big news, essentially, at the Board of Planning and Zoning tonight down at City Hall. Went over basically two big issues. One was the rezoning issue. There was a question as to a block on Maupin, and and currently where the Central Hotel is, and then where also another apartment building is. Well, there's actually like two other apartment buildings in this block, in the 1000 block of on Maupin on the west side of the street. And several of the homeowners were concerned that the proposed rezoning to R3, which is for multifamily, would raise their taxes, which it would not. Um, and But they did not want to have, for the majority of the people, and there were quite a few folks that showed up that expressed their concerns about it. And essentially, the board came to a compromise, and essentially would be rezoning the two multifamily properties on the Maupin block, and, and those two properties would be rezoned for R3, and then all the rest of the single family homes, and then also the Central Hotel will remain as being zoned for R1. Now, the essentially the whole issue was raised for insurance purposes. The people that own the apartment building at 1011 Maupin were concerned. Their insurance company wasn't going to allow them to have a building that was zoned as a single family if something would happen where they would need to make a claim. The building would only be considered as a single family. So that caused some problems. So anyway, the essentially zoning for those two particular buildings is R3, and then the rest will remain the same as R1. That's essentially what the Board of Planning and Zoning is recommending for the Board of Aldermen. So this will go on to the May Board of Aldermen meeting, and the aldermen will decide whether or not to approve this or not. So that was, okay, so here I wrote this up here. Rezoning R3 for the two current multifamily buildings, and all the rest remain R1. The next thing was a pretty easy decision that Pinckney Bend, Tara Stevens from Pinckney Bend, brought in some front elevation site plans for the new Dunnage building. And the Dunnage building is essentially a storage building that will be right there on Main Street, kind of on the corner, not quite on the corner, but kind of on the corner of Miller and Main Street, where once upon a time there was a blue frame house, a blue frame building house that was there, and had been torn down quite a while ago. But anyway, so she brought in plans, and everybody liked them. So they looked really good. The front elevation will have different details that kind of emulate some of the buildings on Front Street. So there's different architectural elements that they will draw from. So it will have essentially a look of a 19th century front elevation for the building. So it retains kind of the look since it's there in the historic district. So that passed without any kind of questioning or anything like that. So that worked out really well. So essentially, that is what we tackled today at tonight's Planning and Zoning. Got the paper out today, and so you can look for that in your mail or also at the gas stations and grocery stores. So with that, I'd like to thank tonight's sponsor, Pinckney Bend. And thanks to Tara and Keith and Ralph and Tom and Jerry and all the folks at Pinckney Bend. Thanks for letting us bring you the news in social media and also in print. So with that, this is Tony Carousella signing off, New Haven Independent Newsbreak. Thanks for watching.